Alright, welcome back, everyone. I wasn't originally planning on streaming today, but based on my schedule this week, this is probably the day that works best. So, uh, kind of a last minute stream, and we'll see how it goes. Also, I wanted to shout out Brady for top aiding the showcase. Not the showcase, the challenge yesterday with with the latest 75, and he played essentially 75 out of 75, which is nice to see. The only thing that was different was he opted for the main deck collective, presumably because it's a free win against these artifact decks. Also better on curve, being a 2-drop over the Scarab Swarm main. Aside from that, those two slots were flipped, but everything else is the same. No, the only thing I want to point out is I was too lazy to pick up the 4th Onslaught Wooded Foothills on MTGO, so I had been playing with the 4 Misties. It's technically optimal to do 3-3-3-3 split. He opted to, to run the same split as me. Probably just, saw the image and ran with it. But I think if you want to be optimal, then you run the 3 split in case people play like Anointed Peacekeeper or something like that. Aside from that, yeah, pretty impressive run by Brady. I think this is his first top 8 with the deck. I could be wrong. But more or less what I've been playing. The only thing I want to point out though is Creative Technique won the event, and that's probably, or at least arguably, our worst matchup out of any Legacy deck right now. And if that picks up in popularity because it's, I think, budget friendly, I could be wrong. It's also, pretty easy to pick up in terms of play patterns. Namely, gets a 6 mana and cast your game-winning bomb. The one thing I will point out though is because of that, I'm gonna be. I tried it last night with one Garok T over Soulless Jailer. I think Jailer's been fine for me personally. It's been actually above fine, pretty good. But as a hedge, I'm gonna swap that slot for Teague because the other thing Teague does is against control, it's another card I can bring in. I don't really like keeping Bog against Teague or Endurance, so it allows me to have pretty optimal sideboarding. Okay. Without further ado, ooh, thank you for the raid, Florida Legacy Club. Without further ado, I guess I will, show my list right now. It's what I just discussed, essentially what Brady top 8'd with. I like the Scarab Swarm main because I found it to be a really good late game value card. A very common line with Scarab Swarm is Fiend for Swarm, so the next turn I can hoof. Comes up a decent amount. You could argue maybe you're winning already in that case, but it does make it easier. It's good against Merit Lage. The reason to play something like a Jailer main, hey, hi, how's it going, is to steal game 1 against some of these like Cascade decks or Storm, some of your harder matchups. But I think I was looking at the archetype breakdown in Legacy, and I think outside of some of these really difficult matchups, I think Jailer will be dead main a lot of times. Oh, awesome! Glad to see that. Thank you very much. Hopefully, you had a great stream, Legacy Club. I don't. I think if you've been following closely, this list shouldn't look too strange to you. Outside of maybe the Force of Despairs, I've found the Ancient Tomb matchups are very polarizing in terms of the way the games can play out. So I just wanted, to go from 4 to 6 free spells. Uh, that's more or less the story because I found like once you hit a critical mass, it becomes it helps by more than the previous copy if that makes sense because of the density. You don't have to mulligan nearly as much. Go ahead and start. What else is new? Yeah. So if you haven't been following, the big innovation is obviously the two underground mortuary. They've just like been phenomenal this deck because we're playing the maximum number of fetch lands possible. So that's 12, probably more than I think any legacy deck that I know. Uh, and then do we want to keep this? Probably not. This is a lot better. So the previous one, we had to hit a dork off the Once Upon a Time. The hoof is dead already. There's a decent chance like the natural order may be dead. This is a self-proclaimed thought on the other side, right? I won't go into details what a thought is, but if you don't know, you can Google it. Spelled like this. Very interesting line of play from our opponent here. Basic swamp. I wonder if they have like. I wonder if they have like some kind of flash or something right now. I guess we'll find out. If they had discard, they would have played it. I'm gonna be in this. Although maybe I keep it on top because I need an endurance pitch. There's an argument for that. But yeah, I think there's an argument to be made to keep the natural order on top in case they top deck discard as well. Looks like some. Well, it's interesting that they've been to swamp, so my guess is like black green depths. Okay. I feel like the line here. So they agent us here. I don't think there's anything we can do. I think we're just gonna try to get an attraction into play and hope for the best. They agent us. They agent us. Like our line kind of like dictates running into it. I don't think they typically have agent main deck, but whatever. We'll see. we're gonna spin the wheel on their tracks here. We're definitely not playing around the double crop rotation. They have it. Actually, they can't even do it right. Like, well, I guess they could. So, do we want the natural? Or, yeah, that's probably like the cleanest kill, right? Like, you hook the next turn. Uh, so if we do it this way. We can only play a 2-drop here. If we play Cradle, it doesn't change really the math. Uh, sure, I guess. I am being card advantaged. That is correct. Is there a reason to run the Cradle out here? I feel like, well, I guess if they waste us, then we can get a Reclaimer next turn anyways. If they have the Merit Lage here, then so be it. I don't. Our hand can't beat it anyways. So the line here is, you crop. What are they doing? You crop the Saga for the excuse me. You crop the Saga for the stage. Tap the stage for mana. Then crop the Yava. Well, for the stage. Sorry, you get the depths first with the crop. The second crop gets the stage. What are they doing here? Okay, I don't think we care about that, luckily. It should be black-green depths, unless I'm mistaken. One advantage of playing the Guy's Cradle here is, even though we open ourselves to Wasteland, is the Reclaimer's online at least. Sure. Maybe they get Tabernacle here, I don't know. I know, right? That Saga's just getting all the value here. Sure. So presumably they're gonna play their stage here, or maybe they didn't realize they had the kill, because they're supposed to Yavimaya, tap the thing, get the depths, and then pitch the Yavimaya, get the stage, and then they can do it. They already had second, then they punt it here, which it sort of seems like they did. I could be wrong. Unless they have like a, well, they played a Verdant, so like, I don't know. If they have the combo here, it feels like they punted, but if they don't have the combo here, then it makes more sense. I think regardless, okay, so if they block the hoof here, well, we have lethal, I think, through a lot of things. So they can absorb 3. We have like way more than that. They can take, this is like the biggest one here, 8. Or actually the attracts is the biggest one. So they all get 15 plus 8, that's 23. Yeah, that's more than enough. Unless they have like 2 different things. Maybe Assassin's Trophy changes the math, but or something like that. But 1 second. Sure. I think it really matters. Yeah, this is so. I think they punted, right? Like, unless they just drew it right now, it feels like they punted. It's probably a stage. Yeah. Sure. If we win this game, I'm just gonna write it off as an asterisk. It feels like our opponent punted, but I could be wrong. So they should be blocking the tracks, though, but we still have 23 damage, and they can only absorb 3. Even a third rotation here for Bog doesn't do it. All right. How do we play this here? The so endurance doesn't do anything in this matchup. Neither does Gris. I will try to text Ty Lue, Jonathan. The Clippers have not been performing lately, and it's very annoying. Do we want discard in this matchup? I think we do. We don't have anything really better. Like Snuff Out doesn't do anything. Neither does Force of Despair. There's an argument for like pick your poison. Maybe we high roll like their mocks, or like if they main phase the thing. Like Bog doesn't do anything either. I guess the upside is worth it because we don't have really anything better. So maybe that's a reason to do it. Like all the other alternatives are pretty low ceiling, so we'll just play it. Maybe you get lucky and hit a Mox too. Or actually it hits Saga, so it's already decent there. Gristle Brand bless Jay-Z. Let's see. Am I gonna be ashamed to show my face today? Okay, they're losing again. They ironically enough, they need Russ back. They need his energy. They're just so lethargic without him. So we wait. We get water. Whew. 2 Arbors is pretty sketch. It does have the pick your poison. Question is, are we gonna be able to do better than this? This is like almost like a mode of 5 already. The green side, what are we getting? Fiend into Swarm, but the problem is like we don't have many fetch lands here. I think we'll try to do better. This is better. I don't know if that version runs discard. I think they do. I kind of feel like we keep 2 natural orders, and that's I just like that's the line. Another thing is like we may need to dig, so maybe we keep the mortuary instead of the base second force, just as a draw spell, so to speak. They discard us, they probably take the noble because we have no natural orders, which is seems like it's gonna happen right now. Yeah, no surprise. Ooh. Do we want that? Probably not, actually. Very rarely will you see me make this play, but I think it's correct here. That's another reason I kept the underground, by the way, in case this happened. Interesting. Would not have thought they would board in that card against us. Like I think that card is okay against us, but not really out of this deck, I would think. Nothing, nothing. I guess do we take the card that matters? It's a little awkward. I don't really want to play into high. Well, it's like awkward. Because we give them pressure, right? We allow them to cast their Bowmasters freely. We'll just pass. Actually messed up too. Like they went turn 1 to Urborg. We could have just played our Thoughtseize turn 1. I don't think it changes anything because I think we would have taken the Hex Mage regardless. That's gonna be annoying though. So by doing this, our opponent just strands their Bowmasters, or they play it as a raise the alarm, which is pretty underwhelming. Essentially, we're wasting our opponent's mana by doing this. We can only do this for so many turns though because of the Voidwalker. But like I said, I think our misplay turn 1 didn't matter because I think the card we would have taken anyways was Hex Mage. Not that I'm condoning. I'm just saying that's not why we lost. Sure. They just did us a favor. They should have attacked first, but actually they can't. So they're gonna seize us, and my guess is maybe they had 2 discard spells. If that were the case, they should have led with the one in their hand. or they're trying to force through a merit lage here. I think we kind of have some kind of shenanigans up. Did they top deck another Vampire Hex Mage? They did. Okay. So their line makes sense now, what they did. I still think they punted game one, but maybe there's a scenario that happened that we're not envisioning. It sort of felt like they punted game one. Unless they just top decked the second crop rotation that turn, literally. And we're just dead. I think. The problem is, like, they end step this, which is, like, typically wrong against us. But, like, maybe people either don't know or don't care. Like, Boseiju is a thing that can happen if they do it. If they don't main phase it. But maybe they're not respecting it. I don't know. Nevertheless, I still don't think I like any of these cards in the sideboard, so let's run it back. The one endurance is just like a chump block. Like, I don't expect it to matter, but maybe it does. Nope. Alright. This is like pretty reasonable. So what we're gonna do here is put the arbor back. And go turn one C's. I want to be able to, like, fetch out the arbor later, and I'm presumably gonna hit lands. And then you want to once because you know your bottom card already. I think we're gonna go turn one Bayou. It just depends if we want. I think the Fiend is pretty good here. What do they have here? A bunch of nothing and no pressure. I think we just take their tutor. They want a trophy our land. I don't think we actually care, or trophy our artisan. We don't have anything worth killing. Wow. Okay. Actually, a line that's kind of interesting is we can get an artisan online, but the problem is, like, what are we getting? This is, like, kind of funny. Like, we can play the Cradle, get the artisan online. They potentially trophy it. They don't trophy it, then we can get, like, an engine going. Because what will end up happening is yeah, I usually don't make this play, but I think it's correct here. Because what I want to do is, like, get a reclaimer online too. This actually also pressures them to trophy our land or trophy the artisan. Also, there's a looming threat, like, opposition agent is possible. Okay. So now we know their hand. I mean, they've got to kill one of these, in my opinion. unless they don't respect it. Okay. Very strange plays from our opponent. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, I messed up. I should have got a reclaimer because I need a cradle, but that's neither here nor there. What this beats at least though is I don't know what's going on. Like my opponent's play patterns seem like off to me. It's like it's very strange. They should have killed the thing and they didn't. I'm just gonna hold this up, I guess. And pass. I threw already earlier. Yeah, see, something doesn't seem right to me, but that or I just overthought it. Maybe I just kept a bad hand. I don't know. Like, it didn't feel like I made the right play here. Like I took the reclaimer and then their hand didn't do anything. I thought they for sure would I thought for sure they would kill the Phenars and they didn't. So, I don't know. It's like very strange to me. Let's reveal it. No, that's a mulligan. That's a keep. Put that bottom. We kept the Fiend, which I think I like. Because the idea was ramp into Fiend, right? And then they go turn one that and do nothing. We know their hand. Oh, minus that, I guess. The only other line here that's acceptable, in my opinion, is double ramp. And that would give us 3 mana the following turn. They probably Boseiju the Cradle anyways. Maybe it didn't matter. Maybe they just drew well after our Thoughtseize. Because then, like, they could have just... So it didn't really matter, I don't think. And we bluffed with this, but they didn't, like... I guess they feel they had to go for it, which makes sense. Maybe we just, like, caught top deck, right? Happens. I think the only thing I would do differently is... Maybe I got too cute and played the Artisan, thinking that they would, you know, answer it. And maybe the optimal line just play 2 Arbors. It wouldn't have mattered there because they drew the combo anyways and we didn't have the natural order in hand. That's the only thing, like... They kept a shaky hand too, in my opinion, but... I guess they got rewarded because we mulliganed and we did not have a fast hand. These streams are bad for my mental health. The last, like, I don't know. It felt like it's been maybe exception of one stream, but I keep losing round one and just like I get depressed about it. Maybe I'm just putting too much pressure on myself. Here, Hey Jared, how's it going? We lost round one, which is I mentioned pretty demoralizing. But maybe I'm just putting too much pressure on myself to try to get the 5-0 on stream. Looks like they have the turn 1 maybe on Phoenix. Actually, like, our opponent is a known Phoenix player. Maybe I should have kept a better hand. Like, maybe I should have multi-endurance or something. This doesn't look like that. Well, maybe. Looting with Rite Flame? What's going on here? Looks like Reanimator. Looks like a combo deck, yeah. I guess it didn't matter. Endurance would not have done anything there. Alright, F6. I'm gonna go get water while we wait. guess they didn't. We're not dead after all. The endurance. So there's a part of me that wishes I had kept now the sure. The pitch for the I thought about that, but I opted not to. There's a part of me that thought about the pitch for the endurance. But that's so funny. I think I want to be able to hardcast it. Let's see, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Or just pass, I guess? We're not gonna allow them. I doubt they have Force of Will, like their LED deck. Maybe they attack, maybe they don't. I'm getting the Arbor here because I want the mana, and same thing why I'm casting the Endurance here. The writing's probably on the wall. Our opponent, if their heads up, they know they're dead if I'm just casting Endurance for value. I guess one good top deck deserves another, right? Like, it seemed like our opponent round one top deck what they needed. Alright. They have an Attune package, presumably reanimation spells as well. They're a combo deck, so I think we want Seize and the Fairy. I don't think we want the Force of Despair. That's pretty narrow. Pick your poison just to hit artifacts. If they put a flyer into play, you probably lost. I think this is the type of game. You want Gris? Is Gris gonna do anything against their flyers here? Like, probably not. I'm just get the chance and board that out. Shepherd doesn't do anything. Swarm doesn't do anything. And then the debate is now. I don't think we want Atraxa. Oops. But I can see the argument for like the hoof and keeping in like 2 Nash borders. I typically leave Gris in against traditional black-red reanimator with show and tell. I don't think that's the type of deck they're on. Teague is a little bit interesting, I guess. And I guess it depends if we want to shut off our own Green Suns. They have Echo, but they can just Entomb for a creature, so maybe not. Oh, actually, Oof is like relevant. So let's do that. Let's just try this. I don't like the bog is already in our hand, but I don't think we're allowed to bin hands with endurance. Basic Mountain is very interesting. I think that's an easy one. We take the Mesfiend. Take the Mesfiend. We can't go Mesfiend into Green Sun unless we use Endurance as pitch. Uh, Depending on what Mesfiend sees, maybe that's still worth it. Sure. I'm gonna assume they're gonna go for an Echo line because anything else is like dangerous against us. Anything involving the graveyard is gonna be dangerous against us. They're probably gonna relay here. Chance they empty, but I don't think so. Oh wow, they are gonna empty. That doesn't seem great personally against us. Okay. That changes our line a little bit. Hmm. We can block 9. We have at least 3 turns, so I'm okay with our position. Don't do that. I think we're gonna play the Fiend regardless, so maybe it's just better to ramp. Yeah, I don't hate that. They're hellbent too, so there's a chance here that it's correct to sacrifice the Arbor and just chump block with the Endurance. And then that takes them to 8, so, and their math is like really screwed up after that. So if we definitely block at least 1. That sends them to 9, which means they can't kill us for at least another 2 turns. I think blocking here doesn't really change much, so let's do that. Let's do this. That's 6, 7. Okay, we have lethal next turn. Again, I would not advise going for empty against me. Because there's a decent chance I keep the hoof in. Like, unless you really are scouting your opponent and you know they're not going to do that. Like, but our opponent here will learn the hard way. Against combo matchups, this is why there's merits to keeping the hoof in. I don't always do it, and sometimes I recognize maybe I did it too much and it's a mistake, but yeah, it punishes these kind of lines. Like, you're gonna go for an empty that it's not gonna get there. Um, when I get asked what are our weakest matchups, I think creative technique I mentioned at the beginning of the stream is probably the worst matchup we can face. We don't have any mana now, and typically that's how you beat that deck with Wastelands and Blood Moons. They feast on control type decks and mid range decks because uh, cannot punish. There's no vanity now, right? Um, in particular, they really beat the control decks and permission. With respect to us, my record against is not great, but I had beaten it. I think outside of creative technique, the worst matchups tend to be the merit Lage decks because the cards that are good against him, I don't really want to play. If that makes sense. Like Needle is a card that I'd rather not play because it doesn't really help in the matchups. Aside from that, like I'm not gonna. I don't need more help against Delver, which if I catch you losing against Delver, that's automatic probation. Um, it doesn't help against Control, which I know some of our pilots lose to. It helps against something like D&T or Aether Vial decks, but one of the premier or popular Vial decks, Goblins, is now on the Turbo Muxus version, and really it's only good against Bombardiers, and it's not even that great against Bombardiers because they still get an attacker, right? Okay. Sure. So it's times like okay, so I think they're on initiative because of the Lotus Petal. Part of me wishes I kind of like had the collector oof here, but I guess here in case they have removal, I just get another ignoble and then do this. We want Atraxa next turn, like through anything they could possibly have. Trinisphere, interesting. Now, if they have a Fury, that's kind of bad, but we can't play around the card anyway. Sure, I'd gladly take that. A one drop here is lethal. Actually, that's not true. Green Sun, another Cradle, Reclaimer? Is that all we can do? I don't think there's Endurance doesn't do anything here on this board state. So sure. What is going on? Why do they have Sticker Goblin? Are they actually on Goblins and we just like misread? No, there's no way. They had Trinisphere in their list. Oh my god. What is going on? Looks like we're playing against Big Red. Feel like we attack and see what happens. Okay. I'm like thoroughly confused. Doesn't matter. I guess we're just gonna win here. I think they're big red, right? Like sticker goblins probably just additional copies or better copies of Seething Song, and then they just have the awkward hand, right? Where like they don't do anything. What the heck is going on? Oh my god, what the heck is going on? We're dealing a lot of damage. 18. Now I gotta count the math, right? 20, 20, 30, 41 damage. Can they absorb that much? I think I can put in Luca. Or that, I guess. I think it's still lethal, but I could be wrong. Or maybe not. Maybe they're just short. It's always lethal, I guess. Alright, that was a very strange game. Very strange game. So they were at 14. Traxa, for all intents and purposes, absorbs 14 because of the life link. Plus 6, so that's 20. I guess that wasn't enough, right? We dealt 40 damage. Very strange. Very strange. Alright, we can cut our endurance. This is actually a hard matchup because our endurances don't do anything. And they... Depends if we're going to get, like, unlucky or whatnot. The Force of Despair is, like, kind of interesting in this matchup. Actually, maybe not, because, like... I don't know. It's... Jesus. I think T could be relevant to shut off their Through the Breach or Seething... Or, I guess the scariest cards are the 4 drops, right? I think we only want one more trade. This is, like, kind of a fast matchup. No Shepherd 2. I'm gonna dare them to bring in Chalice against us. We just accept losing to it. No Gris. Even Collector feels kind of sketchy in this matchup because it almost feels like it's gonna be too slow. I don't think they're gonna run Chrome Mox. Maybe they will. I don't know. We also don't know how many sticker goblins they're running. Like this could be relevant, and then it could just not do anything. I think it's safer not to bring in. Let's just run this, see what they do. If we land a Teague, we're probably good in a good spot outside of getting swept by Fury or whatnot, or Pyroclasm. That's like a possibility. Can't keep that. Can't keep this either. Because this needs to find land. We're gonna put one back, and there's like a double mulligan already. This is almost certainly not going to get there. I think we have to keep now. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Trinosphere? Blood Moon? Okay, I'm glad I kept the hand with the force. I don't know if any of the other ones had it, but uh, this feels good. I have thought about playing the third force instead of the 12 fetch just because situations like this. I don't know if it's worth it or not, but it was a consideration. Um, so if they have Pyro, it's gonna feel really bad. But I think we have to like not die to. I think we have to get Teague. Why are they playing that? That seems so bad. If they have Fury, there's nothing we can do. My only hope is just they just aren't running that card because it's not particularly good against us. Or they shouldn't need it against our type of decks. They have a combo kill. Draw more cards equal good. I don't think I understand what the reference is. Here, I'm just trying to unlock more of my deck. Maybe I'm not understanding what you're trying to say, Paiku Druid. Uh, sure, I guess, but what are you splashing black for? This 2 mana cycling is really slow. I mean, there's a reason why nobody plays it. There's no use of playing that card. I'll just pass. They definitely have multiple sticker goblins. Oh my god. The most luckily they can get is 2 for 2. Um, what can you do? It's not even 2 for 2. It's 1 for 2. I don't know what the heck I'm playing against. That's the problem. Where's a mole like crazy? Atraxa is the only out. It's very awkward because they're running Moon against us. Yeah, they're gonna Fury our deck. So yeah, that's game. How do I want to play against something like this? They have Sticker Gauntlet and they have um, the thing, but like the problem is like the sneak attack is like it makes it so that we can't really play the way we want to play. Uh, we could potentially just accept losing because their deck is like inconsistent, like make them beat themselves. We want okay. This is probably better than I gave credit for. I didn't know they were gonna run Fable. The Mez Fiend probably not now. Force also probably not. No. We could just dare them to beat us fair, and maybe they can't. And just like boarding the snuff outs to deal with their either turn one Fable or turn one what is it called? The problem is like yeah, if we play Thoughtseize, we're gonna fall behind on board, and maybe we just dare their inconsistent deck to beat us. Canoptic or the Mortuary. Canoptic's got some serious upside. Endurance doesn't do anything. Fiend. There's like a non-zero chance we're gonna Artisan for Fiend at some point. The Force of Despair seems kind of loose too. That's probably got the highest ceiling. It's that or another land. I don't love this because it's like vulnerable to their Furies. Let's just get that land. Let's just play it safe. Yeah, so Thoughtseize by not boarding it in, we're getting ahead on tempo, and I think we're just gonna dare their inconsistent deck to beat us. We also have protection here in terms of Teague. Whether we win or not, I think that validates the Teague decision so far, at least. Question here is, I think it's if we play the Green Sun, that's for Teague later on. I think the Artisan may draw out. We need to be able to punish them doing nothing. Maybe that's Artisan. It's a better use of mana too. Maybe this will draw the Fury. Bin, I don't think we want that. Also, it like grows Artisan in case Fury matters down the road. Sure. We get a collector oof here. They can't kill both. They can filter though, which is scary with the Fable. I almost want to get rid of the Fable now so they can't like especially since they have like their hand is like clunky. Question here is like how much do we want to walk into whatever they're doing? So if we grow this, they can't kill everything, which is the idea. They can't kill the Reclaimer and the Fiend. I think that has to stay on top. There's an argument to be made there to bin first, so we know how big. We're just gonna let that through. It could be Hardcast Fury here. Sure. Interesting. How do we die here? And that's, I think, like a sneak attack kind of line. Hmm. They should have been attacking the previous turn. They're not going to block. Um, so if we pitch the Get Out Teague here, we can hoof them for lethal. What are we playing around here though? If they have like a bounce spell, then that's pretty bad for us. Actually, Dead Gone doesn't count. So maybe we just play it safe. Did I bring the mesmeric fiend? I did not. Okay, I think I get the collector oof then. Okay. All right. Very strange game. It's kind of a throwaway match to be honest. I don't expect to play this in any relevant setting. All right, I'm gonna use the restroom and be right back. All right, we're back. So, almost like three rogue decks so far. Not particularly great for testing purposes. I think the most likely of the decks that we just played against is the Golgari Depths one, which we lost 1-2. I don't think we. Okay, let me see. Is there anything we could have done differently that second game? I suspect maybe not, but we're prepared. Sure. This person is always on either Cloud Post or Delver. And they know what we're on. They also once suggested to us, because they had a glacial chasm out, why not play questing beast to get around it? And I just didn't even respond. Because that's, or to get around the ring, right? Like, You have to have multiple attacks. It's just like not a very thought out answer in my opinion. That's not neither here nor there. I think we just get the body right now. Just like took down. I don't want this thing taking over the game. That's pretty brutal. Back-to-back draws right there. In hoof and two Atraxa. I just really wish we had something like a Fable or whatnot that can just like clean up our hands. It doesn't exist in our colors at the moment. Fauna Shaman is like the closest thing. Ugh. Ring? Sure. They mold to 5. That's actually a very good draw. We have lethal next turn. You should put on top. Like, we can't ask for much more than that. They are a Besager deck, so I don't actually think I play at the Cradle. But they got to know that we have lethal in hand if I kept on top and did nothing. This is the ultimate control. Well, not the ultimate. One of the premier control killers, right? In the format that just wants to get to the end game, and you can't punish their mana base because you either have one or no wasteland. Ugh, Jesus. Okay. Okay. So we're short now on casting the hoof, but that's. I think we have to play it out now because we need the attackers. In case we draw a fetch land for Arbor. They're gonna attack and mill exile our library. I think that's fine. We're not gonna block. We got punished big time this game for the line we took, which I think was the correct one, which was the Grist ticking down the Reclaimer. The Reclaimer ended up not doing anything because they had the card rotation anyways, but I think we had like no choice to be honest. Are they playing main deck Dismember? What is going on? I see the life total changing, and that, I mean, out of all the things I can think of, like Dismember comes to mind. Like, there's nothing else I can think of that they would play main deck that costs life. What is going on? going on? So as of right now, so that's a kind of interesting line. We have 4 mana. We would have to tap the Hierarch anyways, and I think I'm gonna take the line to add more damage here. We lose 2 damage to Reclaimer, but everything else gets +4/+4. Oh my god. I was afraid of that actually when I thought about it. Like maybe they have like Simian Spirit Guide, I mean Elvish Spirit Guide or something. I don't think this would have been enough anyways. It would have been 20 damage, 25. Wait, why? How did their life total change? What is going on? They cast. What the hell is going on? Okay. Mm, sure. I don't know why they're playing main deck Dismember, but that's neither here nor there. I could have just played the Hoof. They Dismember, they go to 24, and then I only have 3 attackers. That's not going to get it done either. So I'm happy I cast the Hoof there. I think we were dead, to be honest. It really sucks that our opponent knows what we're playing. Actually, what am I doing here? It's 3. We would block. We wouldn't have had lethal anyways. Because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. All right. You chalk it up to drawing the wrong natural order targets at the wrong time. All right. The good thing is I think we have like insane sideboard cards against them. This is another somewhat fringe matchup. Like you could conceivably play it, but probably not. I don't know why we're running the gauntlet tonight on those kind of matchups, but gotta just play who's in front of you, right? I guess other stuff like matters. Scare Swarm. The collected loop has value, I think. Okay, I board out one more trade, I guess. We essentially turn into a control deck and not let them ramp. Or cut their payoff, one or the other. This is an excellent hand. Really wants a second. Really wants a second land, but otherwise pretty good. We're ideally gonna go turn 1 ramp, and then the way I'm hoping this plays out is they play Reclaimer on 1, and we're ahead on tempo by Snuff Out. The punish is if they play something like a Needle or something. Or they crop rotation, but even then they're down to land. I don't think we care too much about that. Also, the Thoughtseize, we can just like protect our Phenars in turn 2, which is a lot better if we top. Ooh. Interesting. Maybe they're on the show and tell plan. I think we have to do it now. In case. Zenith, crop rotation, ring. We're a while from getting collector. So I think I just take the ring here. We don't care if they zenith because we have snuff out in hand. We don't care about their crop rot. They can leave it up. Sure. This is like very awkward because um, I want to leave the bayou. Well, I guess I have to get a creature out anyways. So it's going to get rid of a reclaimer. But we potentially have to rotate the bayou, and ideally they just green sun again here. And we just like snuff it out again. And then we can do that before what's it called? The problem here now is they're 1 mana away from casting a Primeval Titan. We had a really good hand, but we just need that second land drop pretty badly. Somewhat regret not boarding it out, the second mortuary. Although it would have been none of the cards we drew though. Sure. What is going on here? Okay. I guess we're dead. We're probably dead. The chasm's in the yard. That's like the only saving grace. But we have no line here that matters. they attack, we have to block. If they dismember, we lose. I don't think we're allowed to block with multiple. We have 6 creatures. 7. I think we have to hope to get lucky here. If they have dismember, we lose. Or that, I guess. I'm like, oh, man. That's like a known card too, and I should have blocked with a reclaimer, just like froze right there. Man. Well, it's hard to say, right? We don't know what the next card. It would have to be a. I guess we'll never know. Okay, I need to play better. It would make me feel better if would make me feel better if that next card was not a land, which there's a decent chance it was, but then I would have lost anyways. They go first. The bog is like a pseudo mole. Let me see. There's like I don't know what they're on, but like there's a chance this doesn't do anything either. Let's try again. Ugh, this is pretty bad too. Arguably worse. Like it's gonna be a while before we catch that in. Yeah, red. Whatever's dead. The shepherd. I'm trying to think like the second half we had a Mezfiend, a Bog. It's like it felt kind of slow. The Mezfiend could be like okay against this matchup, but if they have like a Bombardier or something, we just lose, right? I think we just we don't even have the collector oof here. I think here we just hope to get lucky. We're just gonna vomit our hand and hope we're not dead here. Ironically enough, the Mezfiend would have potentially bought us a turn. I'd have to look what the rest of the hand was. I don't remember it being that great. Like the Bog is like kind of dead too. One thing I'm happy about this matchup is at least this is a more like meta deck. They hit 5, so we're dead. One thing I dislike about Sticker Goblin is the percentages of it hitting is not the same as in paper. Like, it's better on MTGO on average. Sure. We're probably dead. So far, we've lost today to Depths and Cloud Post. I think the Depths matchup we were a little bit unfortunate, but not the most common matchups, anyways. I think the second round, I forgot what we top deck, but it kind of evened out, anyways. Oh god. So they already had the Bombardier. So the what was it called? Would have been bad. The Mesfine, anyways, right? Because here they're putting they put 3 cards into their hand, and none of them with a Bombardier. So I think we're dead here. They're presumably gonna kill the Fiend Artisan. Actually, we're not on a non-zero outer, but it's close. Sure. Oh, I was supposed to block. I don't think it really matters. We're so far behind on board that I don't think it matters. I say that and I drew a card that's suddenly relevant. This is 4. Let's bin that. I'm hoping they just put me out of my misery here. Then I wouldn't feel as bad for not like for missing the thing earlier. Okay, that's like a zillion damage. I think we're just dead, assuming our opponent knows that they can fling the muxes later. We'll pitch that. I guess that. We took an extra 3 damage as a result of misclicking, so it didn't matter. I mean, we're dead anyways, to be honest. Alright, we typically lose game 1 in this matchup, and I think we're okay post-board. I guess we'll see how it goes. The fact that I boarded out Hoof means I don't think they can beat an Atraxa, which I believe is accurate. In this matchup, am I boarding out the mortuary? I am. boarding out Fiend. The reason why I'm boarding out Fiend is because they have so many removal spells. I think it's going to be a tempo loss most of the time. It's got interaction and natural order. I don't think you can ask for more than that. It's even got a basic in case our opponent has Blood Moon. On the off chance our opponent has the nuts, I think we have to seize on one. We're gonna have. Okay. Wow. Okay. That's a easy keep. I mean, easy decision. They potentially would have had 3 mana on turn 1. So I think the line here is alright, so we know we only have one of these. I'm trying to play around Blood Moon and not at the same time, which is like awkward. I think this is the correct line. I should not have done that. That was a mistake. So I'm doing this because I'm putting them essentially on a 1-turn clock without exposing myself to top deck Fury. We expose ourselves a little bit to top deck. We expose ourselves a little bit to top deck Bombardiers, so maybe that's reason to play the Reclaimer. Oh my god. Why? I need. God. And I wasted my fetch too. That's the bad part. Put into the graveyard, I think, and just pass. I'm gonna flood the board here on the following turn. So they can't just like kill my stuff. Man, I'm so mad at myself. I just called it too. I was like, oh, I could just play around the Bombardiers if I just played 2 different things, and then I did not. Yeah, so what I should have done was Green Sun for the I'm like getting too. I got too cute there. Green Sun for the Arbor, and then play the Reclaimer. They probably kill the Reclaimer, then we have natural order mana. Great. Now I think we have just lost because of that bad play by me. Just terrible. We could have avoided. I mean, we lost to a top deck, but we could. It's like totally preventable. Cannot play tight. We're dead though. We don't have any outs now. Like, even we can have a Traxa here. Like our opponent misplayed, but all right, we bash here. Nobody to blame but myself. Literally, our opponent cannot have anything here. And even then, we're if we need them to mess up. We win this game if I just don't screw up. Okay. And then they pitch the other. Yeah. So our opponent saw. I mean, we were dead anyways, even without that. All they need to do is just attack and then kill the thing. Alright, do we want to play more or not? Like, kind of demoralized by my play. Not to mention, we played against 4 matchups I don't really care for. I don't know how good of a time that is. Let me think. I guess we can play some more, and then if it gets too troublesome, then oops, then we'll change it. On the bright side, I will open some chests. exciting so far. This is probably gonna be my last stream for a bit. There's some news that will come out. Some good news. So I'll be preoccupied with something else next week, and then I guess you'll see what it is. It's a good thing. Some people already know, but well, I guess I just mentioned here. I'll be making my debut on the Brews of Paradise podcast. For those of you curious, so I'll probably do that next week instead of streaming. Here's the link. Let me find it. Uh, Big thanks to Tony and company for inviting me on. We'll keep. But more details about that coming forward. I don't want to. I guess I don't want to spoil it too early because it's still like a week and a half away. I think the list we played was fine. I could have played better in the last game. I like caught it as I was clicked through it too, but the matches were also strange for what's worth. Win or lose, I don't think you really get anything out of it outside of the last matchup against the Goblin Slayer. It's why like I've been very reluctant to play as much lately too. Not to mention I've been busy. I think we just slam Artisan here. Our hand was already kind of shaky, and we drew a pretty suspect card. Why do they have Saga and STP in the same deck? What could it possibly be? There's a line. Maybe I'm supposed to once. I'm just gonna grow both of them potentially. Maybe I'm supposed to like once for land and then play Reclaimer. If it finds Cradle, that's pretty good. Maybe that's the correct line. And then I play the Arbor. Yeah, I think that's probably the correct play. I like debated it, but excuse me. I wanted to get the Arbor out too, but I think we need to hit the land drop the following turn anyways. So I think we want to find land off Once Upon a Time. Ideally hit Cradle, play the Reclaimer, and then go from there. We get punished if we don't see a land, but the odds are we will see a land. We still don't know what our opponent's playing though. Well, that is a punish. Now we can't ramp because we rotated for the second Arbor to grow. Actually, let's do it this way. Maybe we'll hit the Cradle now. We did not. I think here is Bash. They can just only make a 1/1. They're gonna make a construct. I don't think we care. There's a decent chance they have Needle. The problem is like we don't know what the heck our opponent is playing. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to like hold up Reclaimer or actually it's probably lands now that I think about it. That happens to play Swords main deck. That's what it is. Okay. And I think in this instance, we're going to. Okay, they pitched the Saga. They're gonna make a Merit Lage here. I think that's fine. We actually have the counterplay, so I think we're gonna win game one now because I think we're gonna win game one now because of this natural Scarab Storm. Well, we have Fiend anyways, regardless. But whoa. Okay, they misclicked. Yeah, that's why they conceded right now. That's okay. I mean, for what it's worth, we had the counterplay. Grist does nothing in this matchup. Fiend is bad. Shepherd is bad. And I go down to one artisan. I mean, I go down one artisan. It's kind of slow. It's mostly just like needle bait, and then you have like Reclaimer active. I think the way you win this matchup is like you get to the late game, you have mana. If they have an early Merit Lage, you're probably losing. I'm trying to think about our losses right now. Yeah, we threw the game against the Goblins player. I mean, granted, we're on the draw game three. You don't know what's gonna happen. I personally feel good post board against Goblins. Game one is definitely an uphill climb. What else? I think we lost to green white. I mean, green black depths. I had to look at how that game two played out. Game three, we unfortunately were the victim of the Thoughtseize bug. Um, and then we lost to something else that I don't remember now. I don't remember. Oh, we lost a Cloud Post. I'm also not too concerned there for what it's worth. Uh, if we hit a land drop, and I think we're supposed to leave in the second mortuary, I think we win that game. We just missed land drops for a while. Here, I think it's fine. Yes, we lose to an early Merit Lage, but I don't think we can just like play towards that. Or we have a Fiend for what it's worth. That's actually a good top deck because it's good against their loam hands. Reclaimer is the best creature in this matchup, in my opinion. but you still want turn one ramp. A neat thing to do is if your opponent tabernacles you, you can pitch the arbor with a trigger on the stack for a cradle, and typically speaking, you're not winning this. Typically, you're not beating them without cradle in this matchup. Sure. Interesting. 2 mana almost feels like they wanted to cast a sphere and decided not to. So the good or bad thing here is we drew a once upon it, which is bad, but we have the pitch. We're doing this regardless. And then I think getting Artisan in play is like pretty neat. Because if they have removal for the Reclaimer, we can just Artisan for Reclaimer. The punish is if your opponent has like Mox Diamond mana, but I don't think we're playing around that. We lose to double crop rotation here. Debatable whether that's something we're supposed to play around. I don't think so, but ooh, that almost missed. Sure. If they're on the Constructs plan, I actually feel good about our chances late game. I think we can outgrind their Saga. In case they need, I'm gonna get the Cradle now. They probably needle the Artisan, to be honest. The Reclaimer is like no longer necessary, quote unquote, after this. In a lot of ways, the Once Upon a Time was a rapid growth there, or a Nature's Lore, because it's a 2 mana. We found put a land into play untapped, and in this kind of matchup, you really want to hit land drop every turn. They're gonna needle us. It's just or cage if they have it. Cage is pretty good. If they're needle, they're probably gonna needle Artisan here. We have Cradle mana already. I but like I said, the MVP of this matchup is Reclaimer. You're assuming your Fiend is not going to be able to untap. That's pretty good. Oh my god. They are doing that play, eh? I feel like strategically it's gonna be difficult. Well, we could natural order. We have the second feed anyways. All right, let's prevent that from happening. I actually don't think we want them to do that. I stacked the trigger wrong. I did not want actually the endurance to be put back into the yard. Okay, that's I mean easy mode, I guess. Didn't matter, but I need to stack that correctly. Cause yeah, like I said, I want the endurance in the graveyard to make Artisan bigger. It could matter in these kind of like saga board states. Didn't hear, luckily. Okay. Last matchup not pretty good now, in my opinion. Our opponent threw game one, but I think we were gonna win that anyways. We finally won a game one. I mean, a match one, which is nice. I doubt we're gonna finish this league. We'll see how far we get. I need to get in the habit of sleeping earlier. Also, hear my sub. I mean, on my socials for you carries. Actually, now that I think about it, I should probably update that to just put my link tree. Alright, we're playing against Boris Initiative. I'm pretty happy about these matchups here. In terms of like practice, right? That's probably a mole already. Right? Like we're on the draw, we're probably gonna hit another land drop. This is already a mulligan. Yeah, that's way better. So Underground Sea. So one of the advantages of playing a blue deck is it's more difficult for your opponent to put what you're on because UC can be more than one thing. Um, I think we just leave with that, and then like if they're on a graveyard strategy, we're gonna regret it. But I think on average, going with Dork is correct. If I were to guess now, they're probably on the Rescaminator deck. They didn't play their Underground Sea here, which is somewhat of a tell. We're gonna play around Stifle, or at least see if they have it. If they don't, they're gonna play around Days. And then I like to lead with the off-color hierarchs because in case they kill it, right? Like I can have the hierarch in case we need to hardcast Mesmeric Fiend or something down the road. What is happening here? So the punish here would be if we draw the Mez Fiend, right? But even then, I think I would just leave Reclaimer up. Are they decaying or trophying our Reclaimer? Okay, that's reasonable, I guess. Ugh, I do not want to see that. Sure. This is the bug scam deck. I think Diego has been doing really well with this deck, and he mentioned that it's well positioned, and I take him for his word. Um, I think this is a situation where we might as well. Like, they're gonna get this, empty our hand, and they have the Earl in the graveyard, so really there's little reason not to. Uh oh. Wow, okay. Did not play around that, but I guess it is what it is. We might have to bog because we can't beat an Earl. Depends what they do here. There's a very high chance we're gonna bog here, but we'll see. The good thing is the grief creature doesn't really matter against us, so it's not like we're down a card. Okay, we have to do it now. Um, Probably that. In case they have multiple wastelands or something like that. We're not beating it Earl. That's the reason why we need to do it now. Sure. So if they had a Bowmasters, actually, we're gonna cast our Reclaimer here. We're not gonna attack even if they don't have Bowmasters. We know they don't have Bowmasters because we want to save any fetch we potentially draw for Underground as well. Sure. That's pretty good against us. This card is insane against us. It's like Expressive Iteration. Uh, I feel like we play it. They're gonna attack. Sure. I think we're winning this race unless they draw like some Bowmasters or something. So the interesting thing here is like we can now block, and I think in the event they draw something like that, I think we just want to hold off their grief. Sure. Sure. What is going on here? Wow, okay. So more reason if they have days, I'm gonna be pretty mad. Uh, this allows me to block next turn, so I'm just gonna pass. They gotta deal with this. This is a time bomb. And it's probably Wasteland or Stifle that has to be. We're gonna put like, if they don't have the Wasteland or the removal, we're gonna put a zillion flyers into play. Okay, they kill the Arbor. I'm glad I didn't attack then. They have like chump blocks for days. I don't know why they attacked. Unless they would have a Wither Bloom and they don't want to kill the Reclaimer. That's the only reason I can think of. Okay, I guess that's what it is. How many Wither Blooms do they have? That's like the third one. Jesus. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Ugh, the one time I want a Bowmasters in my deck. They drew their best card against us, all three copies. Ugh, Jesus. Against them, how do I want to play this? I don't really have anything for their deck, for what it's worth. I guess Fairy's like okay, and that's probably it. Everything else is like kind of whatever's. Maybe that, like as a one-up. I don't know if what it hits though. Like they don't have Murktide, I don't think, and they don't have Beans. I don't think I like any of this other stuff. Maybe the first Thoughtseize. That was kind of brutal. Like, I think Witherbloom command against us is like better than Expressive Iteration was against like other decks, and they drew all three copies of it. Don't think there's beating. I don't think we can beat that. We had a one-turn window there. Like we just needed untap, and they drew Bowmasters into command, which is like nuts. We never also like got to really untap with the Cradle. That's the other problem. Hopefully we don't get high rolled the way we just got there. Huh. I was gonna get a Arbor, but we're a little flooded, so I think the line is Forest. And get a Reclaimer. I don't think they're gonna force it, but like. Dismember, sure. I have to look that first game. I don't think we're supposed to lose that game, but maybe I just missed something. That's a decent top deck. It means we don't have to run our endurance out into days. I don't like running 3 drops into days, and then we can use the foothills to cycle essentially, or to dig. They're probably gonna command us here. That card is like obscene against us. It's like better than iteration because it affects the board too. The return of Misty, interesting. That is bad. That's reasonable. Okay. Guess we play this land out just in case. Feels like our opponent's holding up days, but I could be wrong. full value out of this endurance. Let's dig for relevant cards. Okay, guess that's not gonna happen. If they ever reanimate, it's just so gross right now. I think we're priced into attacking here. We really do need some kind of filtration. Like, I mean, the surveillance, don't get me wrong, help a lot already, but it just reminds me, like, don't want to really draw the natural order targets. They're 0-2, surprisingly. They played, from my perspective, pretty well this match. Three mana, what is going on? Sure. They're holding the waistline, which is kind of interesting. The one thing I can see is maybe if in case they're gonna play around endurance. Wow. Okay. The Gris, ironically enough, is probably not what I want here. Because if they have any kind of removal, then they kill the Gris, like, and I get no value. Right? If they have Bowmasters, kill the token, bash for 3, then I just lose the Gris for no reason. Sure, why not? So that exactly that would have happened, right? If I got the Gris. Now I really regret. Shoot, that's. Now they're gonna get a Uro, and I should not have attacked. That was a bad attack by me. Because they can waste, and then any fetch or cantrip, the escaping Uro, and I'm losing now. I didn't think about their like they've actually played very tight this game. Like kudos to them. Uh, the sack the Bowmasters into escaping Uro is very tight play. And I have not played nearly as tight. Now we're gonna lose because of that. Man, I am very mad at myself. Although to be fair, let's see. Can it target itself? Oh yeah, I can't. I guess it didn't matter. It can target itself. Oh my god. How did my fiend die? It got countered. I actually think I'm misplaying. Like, now that I'm playing this matchup, it feels like I misboarded. Alright, we're not beating an Earl. Well, unlikely at least. But our opponent did play very tight. I will give them credit. I'm surprised they were 2-0-2 because maybe the matchups dependent. They played this game very well, in my opinion. I think I misboarded though. Based on what I've seen, they're gonna be able to grind us out. And if that's the case, because of Uro or because of Witherbloom command, I think we need to board in Thoughtseize over the Endurance. I think that I would do that differently. We were not really their graveyard plan. Like I don't think Endurance really stops what they're doing. So I think they're similar to like a bug control deck, but they're playing Wasteland too. And I think we have to block here. I think we have to adjust accordingly, which we did not. We're we're just dead on board. What am I doing? Like Atraxos in the graveyard. All right. Live and learn. Now I know. I haven't really played against this matchup, so I'm actually very happy with the result here, even though it's a loss, right? Like we learned something. Uh, but yeah, I like I said, I think our opponent played quite well that game. Maybe one more match. Um, we have two tap lands. I think we just keep it and we'll see. Just can like dig, I guess. There's a chance our hand like is not good enough, but it does play Magic, and that's worth something. Triumph, probably some kind of control 4C ley line binding deck. Ugh. Um, I think it's that, and then we're gonna force our Green Sun through. So we can once here, or we can. Actually, once is probably pretty good here. We'll just leave mana up. I'm taking this line because it's more mana efficient, right? Otherwise, we waste 1 mana from the Hierarch if we play the Mortuary. Do we want... I think that we want the Bayou here. They want a Bowmasters in response. I think we'll live with it. I don't think we can get Cradle because we're flooded already. I think we just get the Artisan. We're gonna do this first, actually. I was trying to play around removal. I'm trying to play around Bowmasters essentially. Actually, let's not do that. There's an argument to be made. I'm supposed to just go for Grist there. Actually, in hindsight, I probably want to do that. I kind of tunnel vision into the Artisan. This, yeah, I'm not playing the best. So I think regardless of win or lose, this is the last for tonight. Maybe I just get Terminus here. Actually, maybe not. If they have Leyline Binding, I feel a little bit better about not getting Grist. There's that. Three mana out of this deck. I wonder what it could be. Teferi or Narset? Teferi, okay. Sure. Don't think we're up. I think we need to get this off the board. I don't want to have to be priced into playing at instant speed. Or worrying about instant speed shenanigans is probably the better thing to say. I think the way this game played out, it's almost like I probably should have mulliganed that hand. But live and learn. One thing that I may want to try again is like maybe go down to one Arbor again. Like just for fewer awkward hands, reduce the fail rate. One, two, three, four, five. We have 6 mana. I'm gonna go Artisan first. See if opponent plows Shepherd in response, and then Great Grist. Sure. Maybe force this. And then plow the artisan. The thing is, the second arbiter comes up a lot. I think it came up a lot today too. I had to look at the replays, but I think it came up a lot today. I could be wrong. They're gonna plow that right now. Okay, they're gonna do that. Ooh, oh my god. We're probably just dead. I don't think we can beat that. I've actually been on record in my Discord to say Saint Catherine I think is a bit was very much overrated before, and I think that proved to be true because at least from our perspective we don't really care about Saint Catherine, but Oro on the other hand we lose to because I had players tell me, oh, Saint Catherine is out of control decks is a big boon. I said actually I think it hurts them if they play that card. I don't think it's as good as Oro personally, at least against us. The game might already be lost. We have a Traxler in hand and staring down an Earl that we cannot deal with. How many forces have they used? One. Like, if they did get 5 force, that probably seals the deal. Like, it's not even lethal too, right? Because the Earl was going to gain them cards every turn. If we don't... It's not even lethal. I think we should just pack it in, to be honest. Uh-oh. Alright, let's just concede. We're not beating. I don't think we have like live outs too, for what it's worth. Alright, we're gonna play this a little bit differently. The Solitude is a little bit scary. It means Teague is not gonna be not as reliable. Or Endurance is just trash in this matchup. I also don't subscribe to the theory that I don't think we want to answer Earl. We're just gonna hope we win before Earl matters. This league has been very what's it called? Helpful though, compared to the last league where we faced essentially non-meta decks until the last matchup. I think we kind of faced 3 meta decks in a row, which is like neat. Which is weird too because usually the closer you get to midnight, the more degenerate it gets, and this league has been fairly par for the course in terms of like decks you could see or reasonably see in a bigger event. All right, we're gonna use the restroom. Here are my socials once again. I keep forgetting to update it. So there's a link tree. I think here I'm just gonna flood the board. They kept on top, probably remove or force. They both masters this, then it is what it is. They probably swords, if I were to guess. I think an ideal card that we could use is like a brainstorm that doesn't template as draw, but then allows us to put cards back. That's probably like pretty ideal for us. Sure. Hmm, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Especially if they don't represent white, then we can force natural order through. Okay, there's the white. Sure. I think here we want the mana. Even better. What do they have? I think if your opponent, you have force. You force here and hope to draw into another force. As ridiculous as that sounds. A blue mage's worst nightmare. Discard. Or blue control mage is probably more accurate. Um. Interesting. They're gonna go hellbent here. I think I take the force because we don't want them to draw. And then they have to force this, right? They're probably gonna force pitch ponder, and then we're gonna force check them again. Okay. They're gonna go hellbent right now. That's So they lost essentially 5 cards right now between the forces and the just like we just mind twisted them. We granted we lost 2 of our own, but so they had a wasteland, they would have done it. We're gonna turbo dig here. That's pretty good. Keep on top. Um, do they have another force negation? I don't even think the force negation is like good against us, but maybe they feel like the only way they lose is we combo them. I guess that's true to an extent. But you're just down cards, and it's not very good against Thoughtseize. But I guess in their defense, maybe the only way they feel they can lose is because of the combo, and maybe that's why. Uh, Chris. There's an argument for Teague. Problem with Teague is like doesn't beat Earl, but sure. Oh man, I lost a point of damage. There's really no reason to play the force here, so I'm just gonna pass. I lost on a point of damage that I'm upset about because it could matter in this kind of game. This kind of board state layer will be actually decent. Something to keep in mind. Supreme, sure. Yeah, layer would have been decent in this kind of matchup. Actually, we have the kill anyways. But just in case. Just chew through all their removal. The one thing I don't like about layer and why I cut it is I think on average the second mortuary is better, and also and the reason being is because it's more mana friendly. Like layer is very mana intensive. We just want to be a combo deck against like these kind of decks anyways, against the control decks. So layer, while okay, I think I'd rather just find natural order or something like that. Then we just like chew through all their permission. I think where our opponent messed up was they should have forced our they should have forced our Thoughtseize when they had the beans out. Actually, I mean, they may not have had beans out. Actually, they did have beans out, so they should have done that. At least drawn a card. Don't think that's why they wanted loss, but definitely something to consider. Uh, could be a containment priest, in which I will try to play around. We could also just dig. Could be the thrall too. They're pausing, so that makes me wonder. Sure. Interesting that they did that. Sure. That's kind of annoying. I probably screwed this up. Maybe I played too scared around the containment priest there. My original plan was to find the mortuary, and then they played the Teferi, or they STP into Teferi, which is hard to beat. I think what I really need right now is a Thoughtseize effect. If they go swords into Teferi into Supreme, we probably just lose. They're paying costs. What could it be? Sure. That's not what I want to see. That's what I was thinking. They did have it. They probably plus, and then that. So my read was right. My read was right about that. But unfortunately, they had the swords and the Teferi to protect the containment priest too. I feel like there's some flash shenanigans going on again, but we'll see. Reclaimer, again, too slow. More reason why cutting Bog is probably correct. They probably hit the binding. I mean, they're probably binding the grist, I have to imagine. Felt like we were put in a tight spot this match. They like held 2 mana up. Like we can, our hand couldn't really play around the priest. Well, it could. The problem was they had swords plus Teferi, and we just like it's a nightmare to try to when they have this on board because we can't play the way we want to play against them. Ooh, okay, interesting. Do they have force? It's really strange. Like our opponents, the last two have been pretty solid, I think, and somehow they were 0-2 and 1-2. Okay, this game is winnable still. Do you have a second? No, there's no way. They probably let the maze. Okay, there's that, I guess. The problem is that Earl is gonna escape again pretty soon. Oh my god. All right, it's over. I thought we had this game under control. We just needed them to not have that. Oh my god. The solution could just be play more discard and just like force our stuff through. The priest here was kind of obnoxious to deal with. There is one way we can beat priest with reclaimer. I don't think it's worth playing it, but there's the cabal pit. Here. We keep one forest like fetch just in case, but okay. I think it's over though. Sure. I think the issue was game one. We probably should not have kept that hand. This game, like they drew pretty well. Okay, but what can you do, right? And we didn't keep the bog in. There's an argument to be made. Maybe we should, but I don't think we're winning anyways. Like, what I mean by that is, even if we could bog our opponent, how are we beating the priest plus 4 cards or whatever? I think our window has closed, is what I'm saying. Like, presumably they have force by now, right? Or they use 2, I guess. Well, yeah, like we can't deal with the priest. That's the other issue, right? All right. I think I'm gonna concede. I don't see how we're winning this game outside of drawing hoof in the next like turn or something, and they don't. They happen not to have force. All right. Let's concede. I'm over this game. Like, well, okay, I can't see it, but it would have to. It's not even lethal actually. Now that I think about it, they have 31, so it didn't matter. Uh, I know how this game kind of played out. We would have walked into that priest turn 2. Um, there's an argument to be made. This is a mole. Yeah, I think that's what did us in game 1. We tried it for science, but I think 4 lands. You're probably gonna draw more, so the 5th land is that's a double mole already. To do that, we also drew that Traxa. Yeah, I think this deck is all in some ways shares the same characteristics as a Stompy deck. I think you have to be really careful about mulligans. Um, and we should have probably mulled this game. Granted, their hand was pretty good. Okay. Um, it's already 12. I think that's it for the stream. Let's go ahead and raid. Matt Grenier, who's playing Vintage Cube, I guess. All right, thank you everyone for hanging out tonight.